Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. I wanted to go over some recent EV news, starting with Fisker. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in November of 2022, I put out this video that said Fisker did something I've never seen before. And the thing I'd never seen anyone do before is actually hit a target. Like have a company that's a startup say, we're gonna do something at a certain date and actually hit the target. Like every startup misses a target, they push it back. Fisker did it, Lucid did it, Tesla did it. Aptera obviously is doing it. Fisker actually said a year before in 2021 that they would schedule start of production on November 17th, 2022, and they actually hit production on November 17th, 2022. And then I assumed that they would deliver vehicles soon afterward. I mean, they started production then. It takes, a few days to make a vehicle, and then I thought they would start delivering vehicles before the end of 2022. Here we are over 7 months later, and they have just started U.S. deliveries. I think they had 22 vehicles on June 23rd, which is a few days ago, arrived at the facilities in Los Angeles, and they were delivering them to a few people. There's a guy who runs this website called Fiskerati, and he's basically like a big fan of Fisker, and he's been kind of following along. And his own vehicle has been delayed to the second part of July without a specific date. So, although they seemingly started production, I wonder if like this was actual real production or just like a few coming off the line, because I don't think that they'd be mass producing vehicles for 7 months and just now delivering vehicles. Anyways, so Fisker stock has been pummeled, even despite this news of actually hitting targets and starting delivery. So they're actually producing a product and delivering them to customers. And you can see that for the past 2 years, I mean, it was at $21 and now it's at like $4.86. And just in the past 5 days, see, like this is the day that they said that they were going to deliver vehicles, and they still dropped, and they've continued to drop, which is surprising. Lucid has been doing the same thing, so they've dropped from a high of like 55, and now they're at $5.55. So exactly, they've lost 90% of their value from their peak. Just recently, though, they did have an uptick today. And I think, yeah, if you see here, there was a big jump today. And it jumped up to $6.21 and then kind of went back down to earth, but ended the day in the positive. And this is because Aston Martin signed a deal with Lucid to use their powertrain and battery and inverter and charging infrastructure, their Wonderbox. And that is obviously good. Aston Martin's a big brand. And I've said many times that I think Lucid's engineering is really good. Their car is engineered very well. The way their battery pack is made is awesome. Their motor is like one of the most power dense motors out there, and just their engineering seems very good. Their packaging of their vehicles, it's really good. It's a very small, relatively small vehicle with very large internal volume and a lot of trunk space and storage space. I find them probably the best engineered electric vehicle out there, but they're just having a hard time getting customers and actually producing the vehicle. But their technology is great, and I think they're selling their technology, so I think that's good. So Rivian, a similar thing. You know, they were up at like 130 and now they're at 13. So similar, they've lost about 90% of their value. And you can see their market cap is 12 billion. Lucid's market cap is about 11 billion. Fisker's market cap is 1.61 billion. And then let's look at Tesla. Tesla's also having a rough day. They've lost about 8% over the past 5 days. Obviously, Tesla's market cap is huge, still $700 billion. And if you look at Archimoto, so I thought Archimoto was going to go out of business. When I last kind of looked into them a few months ago, they stopped production, and they had run out of cash. They couldn't even pay their employees. So I figured that they were just gonna fold and go out of business. But it looks like they found some funding, and they're still taking orders, and they're still selling these vehicles. So you can actually buy an Archimoto. I got an email from Archimoto I think because I run this channel, they sent it to my channel email address, and they wanted to talk to me. Um, so I think that they're trying to revive this thing. And there's Electromechanica Solo. Remember, they basically had to recall all of their every single vehicle they sold essentially, and they're obviously not doing too well. You know, they're in the penny stock. I think if their stock price doesn't go over $1, Nasdaq is going to delist them. So they need to do a reverse stock split or something. And you see their market cap is $80 million, and Archimoto's market cap is $11 million. So in lieu of this kind of market cap, Aptera's market cap of like 800 million is a little, I think, generous. But I don't know. I did talk to one of their viewers who is a professor down in Australia, and I've wanted to talk to him for a while. He has many reasons that he thinks that Aptera's valuation is actually valid. The 800 million dollar valuation market cap of the company. He thinks that there's many reasons to believe that's valid. And I guess if Aptera is very successful, then yeah, it could easily be worth that. But these guys are actually producing vehicles. Obviously, they've had lots of problems, so you could argue that their market cap is kind of overinflated because of the problems. Like Electromechanical Solo doesn't even have a product, and it doesn't even have an announced product at this point. They're still worth 80 million. Okay. Yeah, so Archimoto actually has found funding. They're shuffling some leadership around. Chris Dawson is now the CEO. The founder stepped down a while ago, and then the other interim CEO, Jesse Fittipaldi, he stepped down. Chris Dawson's going to lead that. And Archimoto, I guess they still have some cash, so they're like alive, but not doing well. So hopefully, I hope Archimoto turns it around. I mean, I think they have interesting vehicles. I, you know, some people really like them. I don't. They seem a little expensive for what they are, but I wish them well, and I hope Electromechanica Solo produces something cool, and it survives as a company. But it's been a rough time, and Fisker, even though they're delivering cars, they're having a rough time in the markets. But I'm anxious to see how Fisker survives, and if they are able to deliver their pair vehicle, which I think is going to be very interesting. And maybe we'll talk about that at some point in the future. All right, so that's kind of the wrap up of what's going on in the EV world as I leave to go to London soon. So I'll see you guys back in a couple of weeks, and have a great day, guys.